Trace is on the repeater.
I heard him.
He's been on and off there all afternoon.
That's my buddy
I
Kevin,
know.
you know.
You mean you heard him too and didn't help him
Uh
out?
huh. Even though I had headphones on, my my Heil Pro 7s, I heard them.
Oh,
Well, I don't know why that cut out. But it did, so sorry about that,
Well, it
everybody.
was looking cool there for a little bit.
Well, it still does.
I mean,
Are
it
you, are
looks
you
so cool,
hiding
but we
from
can't
us?
see you. Yeah.
You can't see me.
Yeah, we just see the OBS logo with camera off.
Oh, that's forgot to turn that on.
Oh,
There it is. Nope. Well, we couldn't see it.
All right, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Nice to be back.
technically, when you guys crashed, did we go off the air?
I don't think so. I don't know. The room didn't
Oh,
leave.
hey.
No, the room
Oh, cool.
stayed open.
Cool.
So we'll just
Then-
have to. Hopefully, it stays together here. I could probably.
Unlike
stop.
last week when we all got bumped out.
Yeah, you bumped yourself out this time.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, the hell with that. That's supposed to freeze there. But, oh well, it's stuff I'll have to work on down the road. But anyway, nice to see everybody again. Hopefully we'll get start the recording back again. And hopefully everything's going to stay alive. If not, I'll just switch us over to the other one. They did an update on this broadcaster software, and I don't think it's as stable as it's been. I don't know why it's doing stuff it's doing. But anyway, long story short, we've got quite a bit to talk about tonight, provided I can keep us on the air.
Maybe it's my brother haunting us.
Yeah, whatever. What do you guys want to do? We gonna go around the room or?
You're driving. We're just along for the ride.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do corners there, Flora.
Hmm?
Let's do a Flora's corners, Flora.
First,
Yeah.
okay. I found some Halloween ones here, and it's the would you rather stuff. This is a good one. Would you rather sleep in the basement of a real haunted house alone for one night, or sleep in a cemetery alone for one night? I personally would pick the haunted house.
That to me, I don't know. Would you rather what? Sleep on a
Would you rather sleep in the basement of a real haunted house alone for one night, or sleep in a cemetery alone for one night?
I'd take the haunted house.
I'd take cemetery only because
Depending
it's outside and you can leave.
Depending on what kind of haunted it is. Was it a murder house? And spirits of the murder victim are haunting the house, or just a haunted house that's created by people?
That's a good question.
Technicality.
Because technicality
This is just a
was,
question.
well, I mean that makes a huge difference though.
Lord. All right, here's another one.
Because if someone died in that house, in that case, yes, I would pick that. But if it was just a regular haunted house, no, I would pick sleeping in a cemetery.
Okay.
Yeah, that. I don't know. I'd still take the haunted house. Wouldn't get into sleeping on the ground with a bunch of
Dead people.
bunch of dead people. You'd wake up in the morning.
Well, it's a cemetery.
I see dead people.
It's a cemetery, so is it necessarily haunted? We don't know. That's why I chose the cemetery, because you can always leave.
Oh yeah, because you'd be locked in the haunted house.
Yeah.
Where only people outside have a key. So you'd not be able to escape on your own.
Watch me.
So, yeah, no. All the windows are locked. All the doors are locked. Military grade glass. You can't get out. That's more entrapment than haunted house, but you know, it is what it is.
Yep.
Shut up now.
Anyhow, that's.
Anybody else?
Anybody else want to prefer or refer to that?
I'd choose the cemetery.
You would, huh?
Yeah.
Why?
Lack of escape if they got to me too much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Keith? They get you yet?
No, not yet. I'm debating. Either one, I could probably sleep in either one. Both.
A haunted house in a graveyard.
Cool.
Mausoleum in the graveyard.
Hopefully, wake up the dead.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Anybody else? Going once?
Dale.
Dale? You haven't answered yet.
Well, not directly. I agreed with the girls about the cemetery, because you're in the basement. You're kind of trapped, but in the cemetery, at least you have room to run around.
Yeah, that might work.
Would it be streaking running around?
Never know. Never know
gotta-
if ghosts are horny or not.
Yeah.
Really?
Running around with a bunch of horny ghosts.
Patrick.
You're welcome.
do
Flora.
Why?
do zombies count?
One.
Because if you have the Walking Dead zombies, you can outrun them. But if you have the zombies from 28 Days, the ones that are like sprinters, that can do like 40-yard dashes in 5 seconds, that'd be a whole nother thing.
Yeah. That would be. If this thing happens to crash again, I see a setting I'm going to change. This thing's using almost 10% of the CPU. 11.5. And there's, my frame rate's at 60. And I don't usually put that up that high. So I'll adjust that a bit as we get down the road here. Anyway, we've already seen the opener. What are we going to do next? We're going to do Sleepy Hollow, Alcohol, Halloween, or War of the Worlds? Don't everybody answer at once.
You're driving.
What's
I
that?
feel some right now.
What's that, Justine?
It's the alcohol. I feel like I need some right now.
All right. Anybody else want to
Well, I'm not passing around the jug I got.
Damn it. What do you think I did this for? I want some of that. goes
That's my cousin made.
it goes down smooth. What was that stuff that Debbie used to make over there at the other station with the cinnamon?
Cinnamon. It was some kind of applejack. I think she would make.
Was it cinnamon applejack?
She had cinnamon sticks she'd put in it, and
But the applejack was homemade.
right, yeah.
I remember that. That stuff was good. Probably not that good for you, but it was good.
My cousin said it's about 120 proof.
Yeah, that's
So
about
did
right.
it light on fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, if you want to test it, you just pour a little bit in the lid and see if it'll light up. Should be like a light blue flame. I said, yep.
Yeah, experience talking there, Keith?
No, that's what he told me.
Oh.
So I did it.
And it did it.
I had a friend that had some once, and they sit there and lit the thing. It's like, and you guys are drinking this stuff?
The blue flame.
Don't
What the
light
heck?
a match.
What the heck was that movie? I can picture it in my head where the kid, was it Happy Days where they were,
Excuse me.
or might have been American Graffiti. The kids were talking about the blue flame and they showed somebody how to do it.
I don't know.
The flame shot out of the rear end about four feet.
Are they lighting their farts on fire?
Yeah. That's about it. All right, let's go ahead and do this alcohol thing. We'll come back and talk about it in a little bit. You're watching, hopefully, the Radioactive Show, Halloween style, here on the Crooked River. Be right back.
This chimpanzee stumbles across a windfall of overripe plums. Many of them have split open, drawing him to their intoxicating fruity odor. He gorges himself and begins to experience some strange effects. This unwitting ape has stumbled on a process that humans will eventually harness to create beer, wine, and other alcoholic drinks. The sugars in overripe fruit attract microscopic organisms known as yeasts. As the yeasts feed on the fruit sugars, they produce a compound called ethanol, the type of alcohol in alcoholic beverages. This process is called fermentation. Nobody knows exactly when humans began to create fermented beverages. The earliest known evidence comes from 7000 BCE in China, where residue in clay pots has revealed that people were making an alcoholic beverage from fermented rice, millet, grapes, and honey. Within a few thousand years, cultures all over the world were fermenting their own drinks. Ancient Mesopotamians and Egyptians made beer throughout the year from stored cereal grains. This beer was available to all social classes, and workers even received it in their daily rations. They also made wine, but because the climate wasn't ideal for growing grapes, it was a rare and expensive delicacy. By contrast, in Greece and Rome, where grapes grew more easily, wine was as readily available as beer was in Egypt and Mesopotamia. Because yeasts will ferment basically any plant sugars, ancient peoples made alcohol from whatever crops and plants grew where they lived. In South America, people made chicha from grains, sometimes adding hallucinogenic herbs. In what's now Mexico, pulque, made from cactus sap, was the drink of choice, while East Africans made banana and palm beer. And in the area that's now Japan, people made sake from rice. Almost every region of the globe had its own fermented drinks. As alcohol consumption became part of everyday life, some authorities latched onto effects they perceived as positive. Greek physicians considered wine to be good for health, and poets testified to its creative qualities. Others were more concerned about alcohol's potential for abuse. Greek philosophers promoted temperance. Early Jewish and Christian writers in Europe integrated wine into rituals, but considered excessive intoxication a sin. And in the Middle East, Africa, and Spain, an Islamic rule against praying while drunk gradually solidified into a general ban on alcohol. Ancient fermented beverages had relatively low alcohol content, at about 13% alcohol. The byproducts wild yeasts generate during fermentation become toxic and kill them. When the yeasts die, fermentation stops and the alcohol content levels off. So for thousands of years, alcohol content was limited. That changed with the invention of a process called distillation. 9th century Arabic writings describe boiling fermented liquids to vaporize the alcohol in them. Alcohol boils at a lower temperature than water, so it vaporizes first. Capture this vapor, cool it down, and what's left is liquid alcohol much more concentrated than any fermented beverage. At first, these stronger spirits were used for medicinal purposes. Then, spirits became an important trade commodity because unlike beer and wine, they didn't spoil. Rum made from sugar harvested in European colonies in the Caribbean became a staple for sailors and was traded to North America. Europeans brought brandy and gin to Africa and traded it for enslaved people, land, and goods like palm oil and rubber. Spirits became a form of money in these regions. During the Age of Exploration, spirits played a crucial role in long-distance sea voyages. Sailing from Europe to East Asia and the Americas could take months, and keeping water fresh for the crews was a challenge. Adding a bucket of brandy to a water barrel kept water fresh longer because alcohol is a preservative that kills harmful microbes. So by the 1600s, alcohol had gone from simply giving animals a buzz to fueling global trade and exploration, along with all their consequences. As time went on, its role in human society would only get more complicated. Tracing the history of our industry and agriculture gives us a fascinating look at what we value as a species and how we've ended up where we are today. Check out these 2 lessons for a super specific and eye-opening look at why we're like this.
All right, we're back.
Oh, those poor yeasties died.
I would have liked to have seen that drunken.
That's froze over there. Just so you know.
Come on. Jesus H. Christ.
I mean, we're not froze here. It's just that over there.
Those poor yeasties died.
I saw that.
I won't tell you what they look like.
I know. That's
Somebody was going to say something about that.
Surprised it wasn't Patrick. Keith, I'm surprised and shocked that it was you that maybe have brought it up first. I know you didn't say, but the thought was there.
Yep.
I'm sure it wasn't Pat's mind. He was just waiting to say something.
Who, me?
You're probably.
Yeah, you.
I wouldn't think about doing something like that, Keith.
Sure.
Probably do it without thinking.
Your nose is growing. Like Pinocchio.
I don't know if I'd say that or not.
He's surpassed Pinocchio. Oh wow, dead silent. I never thought I'd get that from Pat.
I surpassed Pinocchio.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Well, it looks like you got it fixed, whatever it is.
That's one. Eric, that's one.
Okay.
Your little
Yeah.
counting don't mean anything to me.
You don't.
Exactly.
You don't want me to.
Take you off the show.
You don't want me to hit 3.
Oh
You're
yeah.
not my father. Your little counting don't mean anything to me.
And it's a damn good thing.
The worst you could do is boot me out of the room. but you wouldn't.
That
Don't.
don't look like Justine.
What don't look like?
No, that looks a little more like her.
Oh, that's Melanie. What are you talking about?
Dale.
Oh, okay. Whatever. All right.
Dale. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna come over there and get some lasagna.
You got to do her dishes first. See, just
Her
I'm,
dishes were done.
I'm trying to help you there. Justine, did you hear that?
You're mis- She's nodding.
Yeah.
Nodding is great radio because we can definitely, hear it.
Yeah. I guess. Anyway, that as far as that bit goes, I've always heard about people making shine, and I know a couple of people in the ham bands that actually make wine. One of them belongs to our club. Man, he can make a mean sangria. And
You'll have to bring some in and share. No. Then I'll have to bring in my shine. That's not going to happen.
Well,
he usually,
I was gonna say he himself doesn't make it anymore. His granddaughter is.
yeah, his
taking over
grandkids do.
the making of the.
And
I've made beer before.
I'd like to make he made some orange sangria here for me. That was the last bottle I had about a year ago. And that stuff, when you pop the lid on it, there ain't nothing like the smell of the wine that's got orange in it. Oh my God. That was a trip to heaven. Anyway, that's the size of that there. But anyway,
I should have asked my cousin if he'll refill the growler when I bring it down to him.
You never know.
Hey, cuz, do I get a refill?
I've always been more of a wine person myself anyway. And I like sangria to me is very tasty. And that's why I just really like that stuff. Anyway, what are we going to talk about next? Flora, you got another corner?
Let's see. Would you rather have fall for 6 months of the year with no summer, or have summer for 6 months of the year but no winter?
Second pick.
I kind of figured that. I figured that. So we'd have summer.
I agree.
Summer and fall. That would be it.
I could do away with I could never see snow again and not miss it. All right, who's left to find out here? Dale, what do you got?
Well, that was a softball question, boy. I could have 24 months of summer,
And it still wouldn't be enough.
and it wouldn't be enough. That's the only part of this job that I actually like, really, is because I spent a lot of time in Texas, Arizona, Southern California, mid part of California. Yeah. When all you are, yeah. When you are all, I can talk. soon as I catch up to my nose there. I said, when everyone is dealing with 20 degrees and snow, I'm like 85, 90 degrees in shorts in Southern California, Arizona, Texas.
No way. Do you ever go through, have you ever been through Roswell? While I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
Don't pick up any strangers.
yeah. That's not as much as I used to, but I've been through there the past year or so a couple times that I can remember.
Next time you go through there, you ought to play roving reporter like you did at, what do you call it, Uranus. You got to be our roving reporter down through it. I'd love to see some of the stuff that's down there. All the cafes with the Martian things on them and all that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. We'll have to, if you ever get a chance to go down through there, even if I had to come in and record it and just play it later, it'd be kind of cool to do that.
Well, from what I just opened up Google Maps here to look this up because there is a truck stop that I park at there, but I'm trying to remember. The locals told me how far away the crash can't talk tonight. Crash site is from there, and I can't remember if they told me it was like 10 or 15 miles or something like that. I was going to try to let's see, Roswell crash site. Because I don't think it's on Google Maps, because I think I tried looking for it before.
Yeah, they don't allow that to be on there.
Well, so I don't get distracted here, from what the locals that I've asked, I don't pretty much ask anymore because I already have, but in the past, I've asked them, and the land is private land. A rancher owns it.
Yeah.
And they were pretty accommodating for a while, but people started getting a little bit more, I don't know what you would want to call it. I don't know, I'm tired. This, they just didn't want to deal with it anymore. So pretty much, you're not, unless you get like Ancient Aliens or any of those ones, that production companies that are, paying you for the access onto the land, you're probably going to get the highway patrol or the sheriff called on you if you try to go out there.
Yeah, or the military.
Or, yeah, well, it's private. It's ranchers' land. So I don't know if there's any government involvement. I wouldn't, rule it out. But yeah, I'm trying to remember how far away they told me it was from, because Roswell isn't that big of a town. I'm thinking it was like 10, 15 minutes or whatever it was. It was really just kind of an obscure, crashing out into a field. So.
Well, that's kind of strange because if you look at where that crashed and you look at the Skinwalker Ranch, which I've been following them even on Facebook, and they keep hinting about stuff that they found, and I think it's just to build interest. And that's another one. If I ever got a chance to go to, I'd go there in a heartbeat.
What's kind of interesting, and you can't really think like how alien would think. But Topa, uh, there we go. Jeez, there we go. I just love this weather.
Hey, you need some of this?
Now my nose just starts running.
You need some of this?
Yes. No, I don't think that would be conducive to my work.
Yeah, it might
But,
be 2 or 3 days before you got back in the truck.
Yeah. But topographically
Wandering,
speaking,
wandering around behind
where,
the little animals. Remember that?
yeah, but the, huh?
I always liked that song. The Wildwood Weed.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dale, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. I was interrupting myself with my nose nasal drainage there. But from all I was getting at is it's kind of interesting, topographically speaking, of Skinwalker up in the northern parts of Nevada and a corner of Utah, and the area around Roswell has mountains. There are like 8,000 foot mountains between Roswell and Alamogordo.
Yeah.
And if you go north of Vegas, you've got some pretty high mountains, especially when you get up into Utah.
Yeah, northern Utah's got a lot of mountains in it.
Because that's, let's see, I'm trying to remember the ranges. You have the Wenatchee, you have the Rocky Mountains, you have the Tetons, you have the Bitterroots. I think the Bitterroots, those are the ones in Montana. Because you have the Cascade Range that goes through California. But I can't remember what's the ones going up through Utah.
Yeah.
Up through Utah, yeah. I just think it's kind of, like I said, I don't know how you can think like an alien or something, but you figure if you're going to land on a planet or something, you would look for some big open area. And if you look at the United States, the most land area you're going to find is Nevada, Utah, Arizona. I mean, there's a lot of land when you go through, like here, go around here in Corn County, there's a lot of land, but it looks like it's habited, because it's got, fields, where it's got food growing in it most of the time. So that's why I'm thinking a lot of those sightings are out there. And it's also the last point I'll make here is you don't want to be seen. So where do you go when you don't want to be seen? You're out in the middle of nowhere.
And that's where that is.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of, you want desolate, take US 95 from Yuma all the way up to, it goes into Canada, but I've taken it as far as Idaho, or right around that. I can't remember how it curves, but yeah, there are signs on that highway that will say no food, fuel, or services for the next 95 miles.
Yep.
And then you come into this little town that it's basically a bar, a post office, and a couple manufactured homes. And then you see another sign, no food, fuel, or services for the next 110 miles.
Yep. And that's my kind of place, out in the middle of nowhere. I remember going out there, driving out to Utah and then Vegas a number of years ago. I was really impressed with once you got into Cheyenne, Wyoming. That was just gorgeous out through there. All the mountains and stuff like that, winding around and through and all. That was neat. But they,
Yeah, that
go ahead.
no, I was trying to jog my memory, the geography of Wyoming, since I haven't been up there in well over a decade or more, 10, 12 more years. If my memory serves me correctly, I'm thinking it's more scenic towards the west. I'm thinking probably west of Rock Springs because it's more, I think it's more flat, more towards Cheyenne. Not to say that it's flat, but I mean, you get into Utah, that whole area of Arizona, Utah, and that over there, because I know the Cabbage Patch and Three Sisters are some mountain ranges that I-80 and I-15 traverse. But I'm not saying that the other part's flat either, because right above Cheyenne is Fort Collins. Because Fort Collins is the south of there, and then another couple hours south is Denver. And that's definitely in the mountains, considering they're the mile-high city. And here's some trivia for you. Denver is called the Mile High City because it's 5,280 feet above sea level. The interesting trivia about that is it's actually one of the lowest places in that area. I mean, I think Colorado Springs to the south of there is at like 6,300 feet elevation. You go about an hour west of Denver, and you're at about 13,000 feet.
Wow.
So, yeah, up there, Steamboat Springs, Vail, Breckenridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start getting up into the high mountains. I was at a molybdenum mine in I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. I don't want to take up too much more time here. But it's up above Silverthorne, Colorado. Climax. It's the Climax mine. I can't remember the name of the company, but they call it the Climax mine. And if you ever heard of Molly B, and for like, it's a hardener for metal. Like you hear car buffs and that talk about chrome moly. Well, that's molybdenum. It's a natural forming stuff that they'll mix into metal to make it stronger. And this mine is like at like 10, 12,000 foot elevation. That was an experience getting up there in the summer.
Oh, wow. Just barely creeping up there. That'd be kind of neat, though. All right, let's head for another joyous video. Let's see, what are we gonna play next? Sleepy Hollow, Halloween, or The War of the Worlds?
You're driving.
I don't have that on here. I don't see any. How about the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow? We'll do our two Halloween things next to each other. If that's all right, we'll go ahead and switch over there and hang in here when you're watching the Radioactive Show. You're on the Crooked River. We'll be right back.
The legend of Sleepy Hollow was popular enough nearly 100 years ago for one of Hollywood's biggest stars at the time, Will Rogers, to take a stab at bringing the ghost story to the big screen. It was first published 200 years ago by Washington Irving, considered by many to be the father of the American short story. Sleepy Hollow may be America's all-time great ghost story, and 2 centuries later is still linked forever to Halloween. Today, we visit the history of this classic tale in the spot where it all began. Most people passing by these days don't even know it's there. But 25 miles north of New York City, in a place overlooking the Hudson River, the legend of the Headless Horseman took off. I can't think of a more iconic Halloween character than the Headless Horseman.
He really is the one. He's kind of the original American ghost story, and he's our arch villain.
Elizabeth Bradley is an author, an expert on the man who first told of the Horseman 200 years ago, Washington Irving. He wrote here.
He did, and he wrote in that room right there. That was his study.
We spoke to Bradley at Irving's famed Sunnyside estate.
The stories he wrote were witty, mischievous, anarchic, and they have really formed the foundation for so much of American literature.
Mischievous is a good word for it.
Definitely, definitely.
Set shortly after the American Revolution, Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow unspools the story of Ichabod Crane, an oddball outsider who arrives in town and pursues a beautiful young woman, Katrina Van Tassel. He is then himself pursued by a local phantom known as the Headless Horseman. As legend goes, the Horseman was a Hessian soldier who lost his head to a cannonball while fighting for the British. He was buried, but it's said he rises from his grave every night in search of his missing skull. The original tale, just 24 pages long, seems to grow more famous each year.
The Legend of Sleepy Hollow was popular when it was first published, but it was not the totemic story that we know it today. Nobody had heard of the Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman was Irving's really to invent in the form in which it took in that story.
The story has spawned countless adaptations, most notably Disney's 1949 classic, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. And the 1999 Tim Burton film Sleepy Hollow, starring Johnny Depp. Horseman! When people revisit the legend of Sleepy Hollow today, what should they think?
I think they should take the time to appreciate the imagery and the way in which it's inspired all of the adaptations. There is something about the mystery and the way in which Irving describes the landscape as being one of contagion that I think really describes our own obsession with Halloween today.
That contagion takes on an even more eerie relevance these days. Guess what else was happening a little more than 200 years ago? Washington Irving fled a pandemic.
He did. He came to this region first as a teenager, and the reason he did so is because New York was experiencing an epidemic of yellow fever.
So people trying to get out of a major city into the suburbs.
Very much as they are today.
Irving's Sunnyside is still open to visitors, but because of our current pandemic, no one is allowed inside, where his writing desk and the bedroom where he died in 1859 have been preserved. People of all ages come to hear the stories about the legend and its author, whose penchant for mischief is on full display.
1656 is just a date that Irving put up for the fun of it. You know, this is a little touch of the ways in which Irving liked to play with ideas of authenticity, with the notion of history being fixed.
So people walk by this and say 1656, and like, what does that mean?
They think that the house, as we see it today, must have all been built in 1656, and I think Irving would have loved that.
But it's not true at all.
It's not true. No, there would have been a very small farmhouse here.
Not far away from the house, the graveyard at the old Dutch church where the Horseman is said to roam is also a tourist attraction today. So he just hangs out here.
That is what they say. We can come back after dark if you'd like to test that theory.
Irving is buried in the adjacent Sleepy Hollow Cemetery.
Part of what makes this region feel so charmed and possibly haunted is that not only is his home here, but his gravesite is here, and they're both accessible to anyone who wants to come and see them.
The cemetery even features a bridge, not unlike one that figures prominently in the legend. People know it as the Horseman Bridge.
They know it. They insist this must be the bridge at the base of this bridge is where they were meant to have found a shattered pumpkin and the saddle of the horse Ichabod rode, and no Ichabod, and he was never seen again.
At least on the pages of Irving's story. What's your favorite version of the story?
I'd say Irving's because there's so much magic in it and there's so much detail and mystery to be mined, and there's a lot of comedy too that people tend to lose sight of.
But the ending in Irving's version remains nebulous.
Yes, it's purposefully vague, I think, and that's part of Irving's genius.
That means that the Headless Horseman then could still be
Oh yes,
out here.
absolutely. He's ageless. So yeah, just don't look behind you.
Shout out to Seth Fox, his first producer piece there.
Oh,
He did a great job with it. A couple other notes. North Tarrytown actually renamed itself, a town in New York, to Sleepy Hollow 25 years ago to capitalize on the story's fame, which is interesting. And the interesting thing about the story in general, the first 24 pages, it's so pliable that there's a version you can find for kids, adults. I mean, Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, not for kids, not for kids.
My favorite. I just love Tim Burton's version.
It's a very good movie, but not for kids. Ichabod and Mr. Toad is for kids.
Totally for kids.
Right?
This chimpanzee.
Ooh, alcohol again.
Almost fell asleep there. Jeez.
Wait. Where's that? Wake up! Patrick,
Get his bell.
please don't. I don't have control anyway, so.
I'm awake.
Oh, God.
Yepper. Anyway, that Legend of Sleepy Hollow always got me as far as when I was a kid. I used to read that thing all the time. I followed the story of Ichabod.
We had a Rogues Hollow down there in Doylestown.
Oh, yeah. I've been through there. Crybaby Bridge and...
There was a thing that happened down at Hocking Hills last night. I was wondering if you saw it on Facebook.
I haven't.
I can't remember.
Somebody was videotaping people in the restroom.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
In some restroom of a, they figured that there were a lot of people that must have gotten.
Video.
You'll have to. If I find the story, I'll tag you in it, or you can. I'm sure you can search and find something about it. I don't remember exactly what cabin they said. They just said a cabin in Hocking Hills.
I showed
that some little.
As long as it wasn't the Honeybee Hideaway.
Well, yeah, I know, but apparently it had been going on for months.
They talked about.
They sure got a picture full there.
Yeah.
They took and had this. Whoever did this was pretty good at what they were doing, but they found it anyway. They showed a picture of part of the ceiling that was cut away so that they could find the camera. It's kind of neat. No, I wouldn't want to be part of that. Either part. Anyway, what are we going to do to wake up here? I think we bored everybody over there on the other side.
Pass around the shine.
Yeah. Melanie and Eric are asleep.
Excuse me.
And
Justine's gone.
Justine's gone. Oh well.
She had some things to do.
Did she leave a message?
She gave me a message.
Oh, okay. Now what time we getting to be here? I only got about another 15 or so. 15, 20, 25. Let's see here. We got the alcohol out of the way, Sleepy Hollow out of the way. let's lighten the mood
I'm
up.
here. I'm here. I'm just doing laundry.
She woke up.
I'm gonna let you. I want to see. I found this really cute Halloween thing. It's like 10 Halloween videos with weird stuff in them, and basically it's just kids going out and going trick or treating. I think we'll watch that next. Hopefully, wake everybody up.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
You want me to wait on you, Flora, or no?
Up to you. I just figured.
I can wait a minute.
Get out of here.
I'm tired of that. Anyway, it's I think she's about to sit back down here, so let's go ahead and play this thing. You'll get a kick out of it, I'm telling you. We'll be right back after we watch this little clip. I think 6-7 minutes long, something like that. That's on Halloween. What Halloween is about. You're watching the Radioactive Show. We're on Crooked River. We'll be right back.
Come here. Put your head in there. Put your head in the bowl. Come here. Spooky. Whoa, spooky. And what do you think you're doing? Killing out? Yeah. Sometimes the other kids look right through me, like I'm not even there. But you know what?
I don't know nothing about bootios. I don't know nothing about wrestling. But my daughter does. So I bought this box of bootios at the store, and I ate some dry. When I added milk, this happened.
Oh, hello, people on Halloween! Don't you dare be sour! Clap for your longest reigning tag team champions and feel the power! Eat booty-oats! Eat booty-oats! Eat booty-oats! Eat booty-oats! Eat booty-oats! I'm going you. I'm going you. Come on, buddy.
Okay, kitty, what are you doing, kitty? Go ahead. I think you scared him.
You don't like him, Dookie? Oh no, you don't like him? Oh, Dracula's not gonna do nothing.
Mommy ate all your Halloween candy.
Really real?
Here's your buckets. I'm very sorry, it's all gone.
But Mom, it will make you fat. Come on, do this to us.
Your daddy helped me do it too. We can get more next year.
Okay.
Lena.
Lena, where you going? You don't live there. No. No, Mom.
George. George.
Oh gosh, that's gross.
Oh my god, just touch it. You're fine.
It's a witch!
Leah, come on. Leah, come on, baby.
Bless you. Uh-oh. Getting you.
What's the piggy say?
Charlie. Did you get your head stuck trying to get the candy? Now you're gonna growl at me?
I did, Daddy. I remember.
You hung it up.
You did?
Yeah.
What is that?
Why?
Say, Happy Halloween.
We could put you in it.
You can do it. Help.
Did he get you?
No.
Yes, he did.
No.
Put it on. Put it on. Put it on.
Told you we ate all your candy.
Huh?
I'm sorry, we got so hungry last night. I thought we all shared each other's food.
Yeah, but you don't go in other people's buckets and eat all the candy.
Why?
You need to ask permission.
I need to ask permission to eat your candy?
Yeah.
But but I took you out for like 3 hours for trick-or-treating. I can't have any candy from all my hard work. Olivia, are you upset that I ate your candy? Boy, I don't feel sorry I ate it now.
Hey,
Livy, are you upset that I ate your candy?
No!
Are you upset, Livy? How come you're so mad? I think the table's a little heavy. Livy, don't be so upset. It was just a joke. The candy's on my bed.
So I'm gonna come back here. There we are.
Oh,
Well, we made it in.
That kid's gonna be problems when she gets older.
Probably.
Yep. What do you know? It's Mr. Evan.
I was out on a
Hi.
Halloween run myself, so.
Oh.
Hi, Eb.
Hey, guys.
Good to see you.
Thanks.
Now somebody's here to keep us awake.
Here, we're passing the bottle.
Ah. What is it? Fire water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come from the Marietta family.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that, oh, Lord.
In other words, down near West Virginia.
Yep.
Where the moonshine is.
I don't know how much that was true. I thought all the moonshine was down in West Virginia.
Well,
No, some of it's right here beside me.
well, Marietta's darn close to West Virginia,
The
dear.
old revenuers and
G-Man, Lawman, that revenuers too.
let alone
Looking for the place where he had his brew.
let alone the shine runners or moonshine runners driving all over 100 miles an hour. Anyway, I guess we're about close to the end here. Did you ever figure out what your internet problem was there last night, Evan?
I don't know, just some outage, and it's strange because I use fiber optic cable to see you guys and speak to you guys. So no, I don't know.
That was weird.
Seems to be okay now.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll stay that way.
How was everybody on Monday with the internet? We had the servers for Amazon and Lyft and a couple other places were down. So we had issues really bad at work because we use Amazon servers. And yeah, the doctors couldn't write their orders and couldn't fill prescriptions. It was crazy.
Yeah, the Amazon.
What do you got
piece.
running there, Pat?
Somebody's over there talking about a Skyworm net.
They ain't coming from me.
I know. Who's doing that?
Yo, Patrick.
He's trying. I think he
What's
was.
that?
Yo, Patrick, what you got running over
I
there?
don't know what the hell that is. It looks like it's from.
Oh, must be a different.
79. Where the?
Is it like?
Is that on the 0464?
That's Pennsylvania. And it's coming in the.
Is it the 6-4, dear?
Yeah, it's on 6-4.
I hear something trying to break the squelch in the basement. You know what? Let me look at a radar Omega.
That's weird.
I think it's Pennsylvania.
Oh,
That takes care of that.
Keith was gonna go check.
Yeah, I think it's a Pennsylvania net.
That was weird, though.
You should look at radar Omega.
Oh? Why is that?
It'll explain why you're hearing it.
All right. Let's see here. Anyway, that's
I see you lost Eric now too, huh?
yeah, we bored him to death. All right, come on, Omega.
Hiya. Sounds like the second harmonic is home from Cedar Point.
Oh, somebody went up there with the...
Oh, we got a lot of Annapolis propagation going on here.
What?
I kept my...
Oh, I had the... Hold on. Let me silence this.
Silence us? How dare you? Yeah, there's a whole... Let me teach y'all a little bit about amateur radio here. I don't know if you can see that or not.
I was looking at it.
I don't want that. Whenever you have a screen that looks... Let me shrink this down a little bit. That looks like I gotta kill the... I'd have to kill it. Let me put it right up here so you can see it.
I wonder if 6 meters is doing anything good.
It might be.
We're not seeing it, Pat.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to make it happen. I can't get...
I was gonna say, I think with your...
You get it, then it disappears.
Yeah.
Maybe you should turn off your artificial background blocking.
I'll tell you what it could do. Another... Oh.
Yeah.
The legend of Sleepy Hollow was popular enough nearly 100 years ago for one of Hollywood's biggest stars at the time, Will Rogers, to take a stab at bringing the ghost story to the big screen. It was first...
All right. Interact. SUMSKY.org. Enter. That's my site. Let's scroll down here and see what we got. What's the blue for? Probably a freeze warning.
Yeah, there's a freeze warning.
Let me go to the regular website here. Cleveland Weather Office. I want radar.
Wow, that's on the radar? That looks like Dale.
Yeah, I know, doesn't it?
Excuse me.
Like an airplane. Check the radar.
Check the radar range. I'm not seeing it. Oh well, thought I could teach somebody something, but oh well. Y'all beyond being taught.
Well, thanks.
Now, whenever you get a streak like that, there is really an image of.
Don't kick us off.
Hey, Pat.
What?
Can I do a share screen?
Yeah. Go right.
Because I have it on my screen. Radar Omega and play. Is that working?
Not yet.
I'm not seeing it. Your camera's turned off.
Oh, duh. Zoom. Oh, shoot. Where did it go? I lost it.
I never knew you had it.
There, my camera's on now.
All right, show us.
Is it working?
See you.
We see you.
Oh. Share screen with, where did it go? Or maybe it won't work. That was a thought.
Let me turn the filters off here. All right, there's that. Now let me see if I can get this on here. What we do for our host or for our guests. I swear. All right, come on, get out here. What the hell am I doing? Clear over in Russia. All right, I think you can see that now. You see up in where all that white is?
Looks like snow.
It looks like snow, yeah. That is what's called anomalous propagation. And to an amateur radio operator, that means that the bands up on a couple of the bands that we use are probably close to, if not completely open, so you can make large contacts with that. And that's
So could those people have heard somebody from here?
yeah, they probably could have. But I ain't gonna bother their net, you know. But I don't want them on my frequency doing that either.
Don't you think that'd freak them out to get somebody from Akron, Ohio, if they're in PA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. All right. Let's see here. I think we got one more to play here, and this is actually going to be just an audio clip. We've talked about the War of the Worlds several times since we put the station together. I've done a couple of specials on it. I almost like to do that maybe. When is the 30th? Friday? Thursday?
Thursday.
Maybe on the 30th we made. If I get a little bit of interest, I might play the whole thing. I've got the whole thing on in a file that it was the original broadcast from 1938 with Orson Welles, and it used to be called the Mercury Theater, something like that. supposedly, depending on who you listen to, he's scared the living daylights out of a lot of people, because a lot of people in their busy days and that were not really paying any attention to the news. And then all of a sudden this thing comes up, and the way it was, I downloaded a clip I was going to use, but the guy sounded way too negative for me. And I know more about, I used to have long discussions with my mother about it and what she saw, and she would have been about 9 years old, 8 or 9, when it, and the one thing she kept inferring to was her father was sitting there listening to it in disbelief, not knowing what he was hearing. And the way that he figured out that it was not a regular broadcast, or not a news broadcast, is they were switching between New York and a couple of other places. And when they switched, back then it would take 15, 20 seconds for them to switch audio. And her dad kept saying, "That's not real. That can't be real. That's switching way too fast," because they were going from one scene to the next. Well, I found this thing that was called sketches that Orson Welles used to do, and it described the aftermath of what all went on. There were people virtually running. There was a couple of them that committed suicide, thinking the Martians were coming. And what ended up happening is what he tells on this story. You guys want to hear this? I hope so, because you're gonna.
But we don't really have a choice, do we?
This thing's about 8 or 10 minutes long, I think, and if not, I'll cut it early. But this is one of the better articles I've ever seen or heard on this particular subject. So let's roll this beautiful bean footage, and we'll come back and talk about it for a minute or two, and then we'll wrap things. So you're watching and now listening to the Radioactive Show here on Crooked River.
Because I was once involved in a variety of interplanetary invasion, people often ask me what I think about flying saucers. Well, truthfully, I don't have any opinion at all. I was rather impressed in reading the other day that a football match in Italy was stopped dead by one of these apparitions. The two teams ceased play and stood staring up into the sky. I think anything that can stop a football match in Italy must be a little bit stronger than an optical illusion. So I say I was rather closely involved with what purported to be an invasion from Mars. I don't know what is in those saucers, whether they're Martians or not, but we once sent some of them to America via the radio in something called the War of the Worlds. I thought you might be interested in hearing something about it. The Martians themselves look something like that. The War of the Worlds was a broadcast we did based on H.G. Wells' story of the invasion of the world by the Martians. A broadcast we did on a regular series of ours of dramatizations of famous books, some of them classics and some of them the more popular sort. We did the War of the Worlds more or less as a change of pace. And I think because we were criticized a good bit by our sound effects people for dabbling in science fiction, we made a special effort to make our show as realistic as possible. That is, we reproduced all the radio effects, not only sound effects, but, well, we did on the show exactly what would have happened if the world had been invaded. That little music playing and then an announcer coming on and saying, "Excuse me, we interrupt this program to bring you an announcement from Jersey City. Jersey City has just fallen. take you back to our studio, a little organ music, and then another interruption, and so on. We did all of that very carefully and exactly reproduced, as I say, what would have happened, thinking to make the whole thing more effective. But we had no idea how effective it would be, because about halfway through the show, as we were continuing with the script in front of us, we saw that in the control room there were a great many policemen, and every moment more. Now, later we found out that the police were as confused as we were, because there wasn't anything they could arrest us for, but there they were, looking fierce, and a lot of people talking to other people in dumb show, and a very tense atmosphere was generated in the studio. We thought, well, something's gone wrong. Some few people have complained and have swallowed what we're telling them about the Martians having come to the world. But we didn't know that it wasn't a few people. It was, in fact, nationwide. I had no idea that I'd suddenly become a sort of national event. And it was immediately after our show went off the air that Walter Winchell, who was on a rival network and had heard about how all the telephone lines had been jammed and all the excitement was going on, went on the air on his network, on his program of news commentary, and said, "Mr. and Mrs. America, there is no cause for alarm. America has not fallen. I repeat, America has not fallen." Of course, that was really enough for that network, and by that time there wasn't a phone you could get to really anywhere in the States. The highways were jammed with cars going one way or another. Those people who were in the cities were going to the hills, and those people who were in the hills were coming into the cities. And if you think this is an exaggeration, it's only a little while ago that I again ran into some workers, some welfare workers, Quakers and Red Cross people who had been up in the Black Hills of Dakota some 5 or 6 weeks after this broadcast, persuading the people to leave the mountains and go back home because the Martians really hadn't come. Now, since this event, during the years that have gone by since then, I've heard a number of stories about things that happened. Some of them may seem hard to believe, but they're all verified. You'll find them in a very scholarly book which Princeton University got out on the subject of mass hysteria. And one of the stories that I like best has to do with the Navy. It's wrong to say that I like it best, because honestly it does prey on my conscience. The United States Navy, or a great part of it, was in New York Harbor at this time, and the boys, the sailors, were all on shore leave, and they were all recalled that night for active duty. I've often felt very sorry for them, having to give up their nice holidays in order to defend America against the Martians. And I've often wondered what it was that the United States Navy ever found to tell the sailors the next morning. And there was a dinner party, very select and elegant and exclusive dinner party. And this is a really true story. I must ask you to believe that. In Long Island, the night of this broadcast, which was Halloween Eve, a lot of grand people sitting at dinner. And about halfway through dinner, the butler arrived, serving the next course, and said to the host in an undertone, which carried around the table, "I beg pardon, sir, but New Jersey has just fallen." Passed the next plate. Everyone was very contained, very polite. Nobody panicked. They waited till the next course, and the butler came around again, and the host said, Meadows, or whatever his name was. "What was that, Meadows, you said about, where'd you hear that?" Meadows said, "On the radio, sir." The host said, well, exactly what happened? Meadows said, "Well, I believe, sir, that the greater part of the Atlantic seaboard has capitulated." Passed another plate. Of course, everybody assumed it must be the communists or something. Third round of whatever it was, by the time the baked Alaska came, host said, "Meadows, have you ascertained who it is that's attacking us. Meadows says, I believe it's interplanetary, sir. And at this point, according to my informant, who is highly placed and should be believed, at this point, they looked out the window and there was a falling star. I can't vouch for that part of the story, but anyway, that's what's told. Anyway, all kinds of people reacted in all kinds of ways. For example, John Barrymore, the very famous American actor, this I know to be true, was listening to the broadcast, and although he was a friend of mine, ceased to identify me with the show and believed implicitly that America had fallen to the Martians. And hearing this on his radio, rushed out into his backyard where he kept 10 Great Danes in a kennels and released the dogs, giving them their freedom, crying to them as they ran in all directions of the compass, the world has fallen, fend for yourselves. And I still meet people all over the place, everywhere in the world, who've had experiences, bitter or otherwise, as a result of our little experiment in broadcasting. Just the other day, I was coming here to England on the ferry, and some people were in the next compartment on the boat. The boat train said to me, there you are, Orson. Well, you sure scared us. We were on our honeymoon. My wife and I, sorry to say that they looked very ancient couple, but there they were. I said, we were on our honeymoon and had a little portable radio. We were out there by the lake and heard what you said. We come right back home. That spoiled the honeymoon, but glad to see yours. And that kind of thing has followed me all over the world since then. I'll never forget, as long as I live, I'll never forget the first awful moments after the broadcast when, as I say, the police were ringing us around and the atmosphere was unbearably tense. And such vice presidencies were left on the network, motioned me quickly to the telephones. We were just off the air and said, you must answer some of the phones. And I picked up one. I remember the first voice which said, hello. I said, hello. One is used, after broadcast to talking to people. Sometimes they want to tell you they didn't like the show. Sometimes they say they did and want to thank you. And I want to say thank you very much, Mr. Smith, for enjoying. He says, hello. I said, hello. He said, my wife is out in the church, and all my children are out there praying. I said, what? Beg your pardon, sir? He said, is your name H.G. Wells? And I said, no, this is Orson Welles. He says, I don't care which relative you are when you get my wife and children away from the church because they're praying. I said, well, it must be very nice to have them so religious, sir. And he said, well, isn't the question of being religious? I want somebody back in my own. What are we going to do? And a lot of people wanted to know what to do. As a matter of fact, they were phoning us from all over the place, some of them reporting that they'd seen Martians landing in their backyards and asking for advice. And there were others that claimed to have been attacked personally by Martians. And the whole experience was extremely intense. And it was I think 4 or 5 years later, when I was on the air doing a show, very polite show with a lot of people, choruses, singing, and so on. Well, that's a typical solemn Sunday broadcast on commercial sound radio in America at the time with full choir and orchestra and everything else. And for some reason at this time, this particular Sunday that I've illustrated, we were doing a patriotic broadcast with excerpts from Walt Whitman and I don't know what else, Norman Cohen, all the rest of it. Choirs humming melodically and so on. And I was in the midst of some hymn of praise to the American cornfields or something of the kind when suddenly a gentleman darted into the radio studio, held up his hand and said, we interrupt this broadcast to bring you an announcement. Pearl Harbor has just been attacked. Of course, this very serious and terrible news was never believed, not for hours, by anybody in America, because they all said, well, there he goes again, really. Rather bad taste. Was funny once, but not a second time. I suppose we had it coming to us because, in fact, we weren't as innocent as we meant to be when we did the Martian broadcast. We were fed up with the way in which everything that came over this new magic box, the radio, was being swallowed. People, do suspect what they read in the newspapers and what people tell them, but when the radio came, and I suppose now television, anything that came through that new machine was believed. So in a way, our broadcast was an assault on the credibility of that machine. We wanted people to understand that they shouldn't take any opinion predigested, and they shouldn't swallow everything that came through the tap, whether it was radio or not. But as I say, it was only a partial experiment. We had no idea the extent of the thing, and I certainly personally had no idea what it would mean to me. As in fact, my life, I'm now going back to the time of the actual broadcast, my life was threatened. There was somebody, as a matter of fact, who kept telephoning about every quarter of an hour saying, "You will die on the opening night of your play." As a matter of fact, the opening night of my play was the night after the broadcast. It was a play called Danton's Death that we did in my theater, and which, incidentally, was a horrible flop. And at the end of the play, I had to stand in front of the curtain and deliver a speech in the character of Saint-Just on the subject of something, I think it was the French Revolution. Anyway, I had to be alone in front of the curtain in a blazing white spotlight. And I promise you that I've never been so terrified in my life. I had to come out in front of this audience waiting for the sound of a pistol being cocked, some angry victim of our broadcast shooting at me, deliver this speech. But what actually happened was that as I stood in front of the curtain, there was a little spill from the spotlight. I could see the front row in the audience. There was a man sitting in the front row who looked up at me. As I say, the play was a flop. People didn't like it. They're probably right. A man who looked up at me as I opened my mouth to speak, raised his hand, looked at his wristwatch, looked at me, went, folded his arms. Well, I assure you that I would rather have been shot. At least that's the way I felt about it.
Yeah, what'd you think? What'd you guys think of that?
He did have a good point about the announcement of the Pearl Harbor, because I did hear about that in some of the stuff I've heard over the years, that there was a lot of disbelief that it actually happened for a good period of time. So, but I also remember hearing about the when the police came to the theater to question them about the whole thing, and they told them it was a radio show. And I remember they could have used excerpts from this, what we just heard in the show that I was watching. But Orson Welles said, well, there's nothing they could arrest us for because we weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That I don't know if you can imagine this or not, but put yourself, it's 1938. They've just invented silk for parachutes. They've just invented nylons for women. And of course, then in October, this show comes along. And it's Halloween Eve. Would you believe it? Or would you think, oh my God, they're coming at us? Interesting something to think about, I'll tell you. I don't know. I would have probably been like my grandfather. And when I heard him, saying, they're switching too fast, that would have probably tipped the key to me. But to your average back then American that is embarking a year and a half from embarking into a war, world war now, yeah, that's hard to believe. What do y'all think about it, though? Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, I I'd say that it was a product of a different age, and people were more willing to believe, what they heard on the radio as fact. So that's really it's intriguing to hear him recount what he experienced after he did that radio show, and just I don't think you could do that today. Just obviously we've talked about some of the restrictions that came about after that show aired, but it's also just a general mindset of how much are people going to believe something like this unless they can actually, first of all, if they can't see it outside the front window, actually happening, what would they believe then?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, at the day and age when this was made, especially if you just tuned in the middle of it, you're saying, "Oh my God, what the hell's going on?"
The weird part about it, they said that they supposedly played the intro, which was, in fact, I think I might have that. We'll grab it some other time. It's the intro. Once the play started, there was about a couple minute lapse between, the intro and putting it on the air or airing the thing. And if you weren't listening the first hour or first couple of minutes, you were going 35 minutes not knowing what was going on. And as you heard there, where that guy came in and said, "You're what?" Well, that was because they were getting phone calls because people were jumping off of buildings and running up into the hills. Just incredible stories. Yeah, I've always liked that. I've always liked that show. Orson Welles was a hell of a writer, and so was H.G. And it's just something else. I think it's probably one of the top 10 weirdest thing that's ever happened in this world. The most unbelievable. It kind of makes me wonder if, say, this asteroid that just went and supposedly hit the sun and back out. You got to wonder if something like that was, what would something like that be carrying a being from another planet, an alien? And all of a sudden they park themselves in orbit around us and beam down or whatever. Would you find that? Would you believe that? I'd find it hard to believe at first. But then again, weird things happen in weird times. Anyway, I think maybe we can wrap this. If you guys want to stay in a room a little bit, Melanie and Evan, Dale, you two, I want to take and grab these 3 clips so I can get this other part of this on the way. So I think we can go ahead and wrap this. Anybody else got anything? Going once, going twice.
Tie the ribbon on it.
All right, y'all have a grand evening. Thanks for tuning in with us. And sorry we had a small oops there in the beginning, but oops has happened, especially on live radio. So we will go ahead and let it go here. Flora, anything?
No, just thank everybody for coming in.
Yep, thank everybody for coming in.
Everybody for
thank
listening.
you. If you are out in the audience there, I see we've picked up a little bit of a following here. If you ever have any suggestions on a show, if you want to be part of a show, anything like that, you can get a hold of me at Crooked River or office at Crooked River Radio.
Might as well get a shameless plug in.
That's right. You can get a hold of me at office at crookedriverradio.com. We'll look your suggestions over, and you might even hear back from me. You never know. But with that, we will go ahead and pull the plug. Thanks again for everybody, and we will, as far as I know, we'll be back next week. Coming up in tomorrow night is The Art of Argument, and I've got that's going to be a rocking and rolling one there, because I'm going to or have a couple of arguments that it's going to be hard to back out of. So look forward to that. Then Saturday morning, we're going to be on a hiatus for that weekend as far as the Four Guys on Sports. I got a training session I got to do. Hey,
you don't go to the Hamfest?
You can. You want to announce it here? You can.
I said, are you going to go to the Hamfest?
I don't know. It's going to depend.
Okay. That would be Sunday right after the testing.
No, Saturday.
Saturday's the testing, Sunday's the Hamfest.
Yeah, that's right. Don't you forget it. Anyway, see y'all. Keith, you're welcome to hang around too. With that, I'm
probably
out of here.
don't wander downstairs.
All right. Have a good afternoon, evening, or morning, whatever it is.
Wherever you are.
In your house, and we will see you all next week. Adios. Adios, mucha.
Adios.
I ought to grab that clip. Play that at the end. Is that all the way?
If you enjoyed this presentation of Radio Active by the Crooked River Radio Network, see you again soon.